Hey there, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about chords. We've done all the theory, the basic theory on how to build chords, how to build your major scale, minor scale, so you knew how to build chords, whether they're major, minor, extended. Now we're going to take some of that theory and actually build chords out of them. Alright? Last two videos we talked about how to play a major scale in the first position. Some of that kind of comes in handy when you're building chords if you're new at this. Okay? Easiest way, of course, is get some basic chords memorized. That's what I'm helping you with today, but I'm going to go a little deeper than just showing you how to play a chord. I'm going to kind of build the chord with you so you can kind of understand how it works and why it works, instead of just saying, okay, here's a chord, here's a chord, here's a chord, and memorize them. This way you can have a little better understanding of how the theory behind those work. Okay? So, we're going to start off, we're going to learn key of G chords today. We'll teach you 4 of them. Then you can play a majority of songs out there if you know these 4 chords. Alright, so we're going to start off with the first chord in the key of G would be the G major chord. Alright, so if you can see my guitar here, on the 3rd fret, that's going to be your root note, that's a G. You want to take your middle finger here, you're going to place it on the 3rd fret, okay? That's your G note. Alright, now if you remember, a G major chord is built with a 1, 3, and the 5. Any chord, basic chord is 1, 3, 5, and your 3rd determines if it's major or minor. Key of G, we know if you write it all out, it's a B note. So, on your 2nd string, the A, you work up A sharp, 2nd fret would be a B. So we need a B note. So, you've got your G, you're going to take your index finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the A string. If you can see that, so now you got a G and a B. Alright, now, your next string is a D. If you go back to your theory, we know G, B, and D make a G chord. So that can just be left open. 3rd string down, you can see here, 3rd one, that's a G, so we can leave that open. The next small string, right here, if you can see it, that's a B. Once again, we can leave it open. So now we have G, B, B, G, B. And all you're doing is pressing 2 down. Now the high E string, the little string, that you're going to take your ring finger here, you can see it, and put it on the 3rd fret. I don't know if you can see that. And that gives you another G. So if you were to strum all 3 of those, that's your G major chord. You got to make sure the index finger doesn't bump any of the other ones behind it. So, recap, middle finger on the 3rd fret, index finger 2nd fret, ring finger 3rd fret. And that is the easy way, that's just the G major chord. Okay? And that's the root chord of G, key of G, your G. Alright? Next chord we're going to learn is the D. You're going to want to take, you could strum, you're not going to strum the top 2 strings, okay? You can, actually you can. If we go through a D and we want to play a D major chord, we know it's going to be a D, an F sharp, and an A. That's your 1, 3, 5 with your major 3rd. So, you can play the open A string because there is an A in the D chord. Alright, the next one is a D. It's an open D, if you can see right here. Leave that open. Alright, you're going to take your index finger and you're going to plant it right on the 2nd fret of the G string. That gives you another A note, okay? 2nd fret. Take your ring finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the B. That gives you another D. So now you've got a D, A, D. We need an F sharp in there to get that major, so you're going to take your ring finger, or your middle finger, and you're going to put it on the 2nd fret of the high E. You're going to make that pattern right there if you can see it. Okay? You got to take those 2, and then that one. Okay? There's your D. So now you have a G, D. Alright. Next chord I'm going to teach you is a C, which is the 4th chord in the key of G. You're going to take your ring finger, 3rd fret, on the A string. That gives you a C note. Middle finger, 2nd fret of the D string. That gives you an E. So there's your root, your major 3rd, and your G string's going to stay open, which is your third small string, index finger, first fret of the B, which actually is going to give you a C note, and you can leave that little high E open to strum it, because that's your E again, your major third. So all 5 strings except for the low E, you could strum it in there. It's an E note, it's part of the chord, that's fine. It would actually be called a C/E because you're actually putting the E through, but right now I wouldn't strum it. Just strum the 5 strings down with your fingers there. That's your C chord, okay? And the last chord I'm going to show you for this key is the E minor. Open E, the big low E string, you can see it. You're going to play that. You're going to take your middle finger, put it on the 2nd fret of the A string, and then that gives you a B. If you remember your theory, an E minor is an E, a G, and a B note. If it was a major, it'd be a G sharp, but it's not. So we're going to go E, open E, 2nd fret, A string, middle finger. That's your B note. That's your 5th. All right. You're going to take your ring finger, put it right on the 2nd fret of the D string. That gives you another E. And then you're going to leave that open G open. That gives you your minor third note. So far it's just 2nd fret on the A and D strings. And then the rest you can leave open because it gives you the G, the B, and the E again. You strum them all. Gives you a nice sad E minor. Okay, so let's recap. We got a G, D, C, E minor. Those 4 chords, you can play a majority of songs out there in the key of G. Alright, so quick example, we're going to do G, D, E minor, C, which is what they call the 1-5-6-4 chord progression. It's in tons of songs. Journey's Don't Stop Believin', Cruise by Florida Georgia Line, Glycerine by Bush, what else? Eagle Eye Cherry Saved the Night. They switched the chords around, but Whistle Baby, Florida. It's 1-5-6-4. Those chords put together make a huge portion of the songs. All right, so if we want to play in the key of G, we want a nice, good progression. You take your G to a D to the E minor to the C. So those 4 chords you can play around with them. Start off on the E, C, G, D. Start off on the G. And they just sound nice together. Okay? So G, D, E minor, C. Really nice. 1-5-6-4 chords, and they work well together. So there's in the key of G, there's a couple other chords. I'm not going to get into them today. There's actually a lot of other chords, but basic chords would be your A minor, B minor, but like I said, we're not going to get into those today. So there you go, 1-5-6-4 chords, and in the key of G, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.